So a lot of people out there are talking about Andrew Tate and how they think he's a fraud when it comes to his boxing and fighting ability. So we're actually going to go into a video today and break it down to see whether or not all of these pros, MMA fighters and so much more are talking nonsense. So let's get into it. So this video is called Andrew Tate vs Heavyweight Boxers Full Sparring Footage. So we're going to be able to see Andrew Tate against heavyweight boxers now, see whether or not his capabilities are up to the way he presents himself, the way he talks about his fighting ability, and to see whether or not the haters out there are actually correct, whether he can actually fight or not. Let's get into it. I mean, leaving his hand out like that's kind of crazy, but he's keeping his range, he's working himself out, he's in and out quite quick, quite sharp as well. Leaves his jab out quite a lot, like chin in the air there. Whoa, what was that? Like, we're gonna pull this back now, guys. Right, watch him now. Ready? Chin in the air now. And he actually, I think he got caught as well. He shouldn't have really got caught there, but wow, chin in the air. I try and pause it, chin up, and with every jab he flicks, his chin goes higher, and his eyes are shut as well. And again, his chin's up in the air and his right hand's down as well, not protecting himself. So this guy here, who's being caught by Andrew Tate, by the way, whose head's literally touching the backside of, you know, has been able to catch Andrew Tate with a punch. Not a big punch, but he got caught. So I'm not sure whether or not his boxing ability is up to scratch. I'm sure his leg kicks and knees are a different story altogether. But he's boxing with his hands down. This other guy seems to be defending himself quite well. Nice sharp jab from the other guy as well. But we're focusing on Andrew Tate again. It's like he's coming down and punching up. So his chin's ending up in the air every time. Even with the hook, then his chin's up in the air, wide open. He's not tucking his chin in at all. He has hurt the guy there. He did hurt the guy. But let's just pull it back a little bit and just have a look how he hurt him from this point. It's like that guy's had enough. So let me say this, like, Andrew Tate's fitness at this point, I would say, is decent. His fitness levels are great. Boxing ability, not so much. He probably possesses a lot of power with having strong legs. If he's able to push off his legs and rotate his hips properly, then listen, he's possessing a lot of power in his punches. But overall boxing ability, based on what we've seen already, is not the best. Like, his chin's up in the air, his hands are low. When he's throwing one punch, his other hand's down, and vice versa. He's not protecting himself correctly. And I will say this, when it comes to boxing, right, protecting yourself at all times is the main priority before actually hurting your opponent. If you're not protecting yourself and you go for an attack, you're leaving yourself wide open for a counter every single time. Okay, so it looks like now we're going to get to see him up against somebody else, different style, yes. So this guy's got a peekaboo style, whereas the other guy had the cross-arm stance with the defense. This guy looks a little bit smaller. Andrew Tate seems to be more comfortable. He's got a longer range than this guy, but he keeps holding his arm out like he's just been caught then. He's not doing much with his lead hand at all. He's leaving it out quite a lot, and even after he throws it, he leaves it out. When he brings it back, it's quite slow. Done a little bit of a lay back there to get out the way of a shot, which isn't bad, but his chin was in the air. Needs to tuck that in a little bit more. See what I mean? Like, it comes down to this. Andrew Tate is a strong guy, like, so he's hitting the lads he's sparring, and he's hitting them. But it almost looks like these guys are going a little bit easy on him, like they're not going full force, so maybe that's what it is. There's a little bit of a weight difference between these two, as we can tell. But just pay attention to Andrew Tate here. Defensively not great, but he whipped in that body shot quite well, I will say that. And when he whipped it in as well, if we just pull it back again a little bit, when he whips it in now, watch where his other hand is, okay? So it's a lead hook that he whips in, look. And his other hand is just not protecting himself at all. Again, let me say this. Andrew Tate's obviously a very confident person. He's so confident that he believes he can keep his chin up in the air without a defense whilst throwing punches. If that's how he can box, and if he can take a heavyweight punch to the chin whilst doing that, fair play. But it's not a clever way to box at all. So far we've seen him stop two guys. This guy's carried on though. I mean, he put him down with a body shot. This guy's starting to load up a little bit now as well. Let's see how Andrew Tate deals with the extra pressure. You know, he's just stepping back. He's got a longer reach. He defended himself quite well there. He's turning him quite well as well. His stance is great. It's just the low hands. And I know some people will box with low hands, but his chin's just up in the air. He's got good reflexes though, I will say that. He looks a lot better against this guy than he did the first guy. Maybe it's due to the size difference, but even then, like throwing his chin back the way he does to defend himself or to get out the way of a shot, he moves backwards quite a lot. You wouldn't expect that really from Andrew Tate with his confidence. You'd expect him to be pushing forward on the attack quite a lot, trying to control centre ring, although it's not a ring, that's essentially what it is. He whipped in a nice body shot again. Lead hook to the body is really good from Andrew Tate. Head movement's great as well. Footwork's not bad whatsoever. He's just switched stances now, so he can switch. All I will say so far, the one thing I'm noticing is that his chin is up in the air, but when them punches are coming, he got caught there, but when the punches are coming, 9 times out of 10, you know, he's a little laid back, a little slip to the left or right, and he's out the way of the punch. His head movement's not bad at all. To be fair, right, it's like he's turned it up a little bit now in that. Towards the end of that round with that guy, he turned it up quite well. He looked a hell of a lot better in the last like 30 seconds that we've just watched than he has done all the way through so far. So now we're seeing him against somebody else here. He's got quite a tight guard, the hands are down now, but we're paying attention to Andrew Tate. So all of these leaving his arms out and stuff like that, I feel like that's a distraction. Show of a bit of slow pace and then pop, throw in a nice sharp punch after it. Whoa, that guy dived in really bad there, like dived in with his chin in the air. Andrew Tate could have hit him with a check hook there. Yeah, he's not bad, you know. He's not bad. And this is just boxing, nothing to do with Thai, nothing to do with knees or kicks or elbows, just boxing. So we've seen so far that his head movement's good, his footwork's good, he can switch stances, he can whip in a nice lead hook to the body. You know, he knows how to keep his range quite well. And he can turn the speed up and down as well as the pace. He can keep the power at a minimal whilst keeping the speed in his punches as well. So we've got another guy now. This guy's taller than him. Looks like a decent little boxer. See how his hands are up a little bit more now against the taller guy. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's about position of where the punches are coming from his opponent, where he leaves his hands. Seems to have a higher guard against this longer and taller guy at the moment. You can see the difference in what he's willing to do and not do against different opponents. Like the last guy we saw, he could have just, you know, had a field day with him, but this guy seems a little bit more cautious. But knowing to be more cautious and knowing that he's got to change his style a little bit depending on the size and ability of his opponent shows ability. It shows that he's got that sort of boxing, fighting brain. So I will say this. Andrew Tate looks good for a boxer against these guys. Personally, I don't know who the guys are that he's actually sparring with in this footage, but he looks good against them. The first guy looked a bit sloppy, but let's say he was warming into the round, okay? After that, everything started to progress and get better. Honestly, I would say Andrew Tate is definitely confident enough to claim to be a boxer. I would say that other than his guard and his chin being up in the air, everything else looks pretty decent. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you think Andrew Tate looked great, good, bad? Let me know. And if you did enjoy the video, guys, smash that thumbs up if you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our future uploads. Until next time, I'll see you later. Boosh.